Good afternoon, all of you. I am Nikita. I welcome you to BYJU'S exam prep and I welcome you to this session on CMAT where we'll discuss the previous year questions today. Okay, so I hope I am clearly visible and audible to everybody. Drop a hi so that I know you are here and then we can begin with our session. Good afternoon, sweetie. I hope you're doing fine and are preparing sincerely for CMAT. Hello, Makaran. All right, then, let's proceed. So, I have questions today straight away, okay? Because the idea was to cover some popular, basically some different questions from previous years, right? So, you know the usual question types, right? You know synonym antonyms are asked. You know that you can be asked fill in the blanks based on vocabulary, sentence correction, error spotting, right? So, some different question types and some that were slightly tricky to navigate. That's the idea. CMAT as an exam is not very difficult when it comes to the language comprehension section at least. So you'll not find very tricky questions today. Okay, just that some that will make you think. That's it. Hi Samriddhi, good afternoon Mayank. Hello Shiba, good afternoon. Right, let's begin. So this is your first question, word application. Now, a word and its definition is given followed by four sentences. All right. Now here in the question, the definition was not really written. Okay. So the question, the source from where I have got this just had the word. Probably in the exam they did mention the definition, so I just kept it as it is. I did not write the definition. So this question is testing you on two aspects. Do you know the meaning of evanescent? And if you know the meaning, can you actually apply it to one of these scenarios? Right? I am not telling you the meaning. First, you tell me the answer. Yes. Hello, Sujal, Mohit, Mayank. Let's attempt this question. Let me see what you say as the answer. A, okay. Rahul says A. Others? Samriddhi says D. Okay, then Anush says, Acha, Anush just said hello. I thought you're giving a response. Okay, A final. D or A. Mayank says C. Vishal says C. All right. So multiple responses I've got A, D, C. I think just B is something that you haven't mentioned. Otherwise, I've got all the responses. All right. So A says a dew sparkling in the sunlight. All right, it's sparkling in the sunlight right now. A dew does not stay forever. Yes, I think all of us know this, right? It's temporary. Then a corpse in the funeral pyre, that does not really fit the meaning of evanescent. Now, what does this word mean? Okay, evanescent, something that is not going to last a long time, right? Something that is temporary, transitory, that is evanescent. A synonym of this word is ephemeral. Okay, ephemeral, evanescent, they are synonymous, right? Now, ephemeral, it comes from the name of a bee actually. Okay, it's a ephemera is a type of bee. It is said that this bee lives just for 8 minutes after being born. It dies after 8 minutes. So its life is so short, so temporary, so transitory, right? So you can actually associate the two words and learn them like this. Now, something that's very transitory or temporary, that's what I'm looking for. So a corpse in the funeral pyre, uh, the life of a person can be said to be transitory, but again, it's not that short as compared to a, let's say, a rainbow. So this is eliminated. This is not relevant. Coming to C, rainbow on a rainy day. Again, a rainbow would probably appear on a rainy day, right? Not on other days, not on the usual days. Plus, it appears for a short time. So, yes, even this fits. D, passing clouds on a clear sky. Okay, so they are passing by, they're not going to stay here forever. However, see, evanescent means that something that has a temporary existence. These clouds are going to pass by. These clouds are going to pass by, but it's not that they'll stop existing, isn't it? They'll just not be visible to you. That's it. So, passing clouds on a clear sky can be eliminated because they will still exist. It's just that they'll not be visible to us. Whereas a rainbow on a rainy day will stop existing after a while. Okay. Now, compare A and C. A dew sparkling in the sunlight, rainbow on a rainy day. Which one fits better when it comes to the definition of evanescent? Yes. Good afternoon, Vishal. So, okay, the question is, when do I take sessions for cat RCs? We have something called VRC Score Booster. It happens every Friday. Okay, so usually in the evenings. This Friday, however, I have a CMAT session with you. Okay, so this Friday, 7 p.m., I have a CMAT session, right? So I'll just check and let you know when the VRC Score Booster is going to happen, right? Okay, so rainbow on a rainy day is a better answer choice here because it implies, when I say rainbow on a rainy day, it implies the transitoriness, the momentary nature of it, the fact that it's very short lived. Well, for how long this dew sparkling in the sunlight will stay, I don't know, right? But rainbow on a rainy day, I know this is by its very nature evanescent, it is short lived. That's why C is the answer here. So this question became not just about vocabulary, but also about your logic. Right, it was asked in the language comprehension section only of CMAT. I found it to be a very different question, and that's why I made it your first question. I hope it is clear to everybody. If it is not, you can tell me in the chat box. Okay, here comes an idiom. Which of the following idiom or phrase means like a spy? Hmm. Like a spy. Which of the idioms means this? See, this will tell you that learning idioms is important when it comes to exams like CMAT, MAT, for your various non-CAT exams. Okay, okay. Makarand is saying, please explain this again. Right. So, we were discussing the meaning of this word evanescent. Evanescent means something that's very short-lived, right? Something that's very transitory. Now, we had four options. Okay. So, two of them were easy to eliminate. B was the easiest to eliminate. A corpse in the funeral pyre, right? Uh, because the idea is, okay, life is transitory, but it's difficult to relate it to a corpse per se, right? Then passing clouds on a clear sky, the clouds pass you by, I agree, they are no longer visible to you, but it's not like they stop existing. So, eliminated. A dew sparkling in the sunlight, the phrasing of this does not really highlight the short term nature of this thing, of the dew, right? For how long will it sparkle? This is not very clear to me. But rainbow on a rainy day, now you are very clear here that it's okay, a rainbow that has appeared on a rainy day. And through our general knowledge, we know that rainbows are again short lived. So C is a better fit when compared with A. And that's why C is our answer in evanescence. Right? Hope this is clear. Okay, synonyms, antonyms, idioms, all right, I'll discuss that. So I've got one response. No, I've got many responses. A and C is what you think primarily. Others. I think you're relating this to alpha, spy to alpha, those codes, right? the alpha and the omega. You know where the word alphabet comes from? Alphabet. Basically from the first two letters in the Greek alphabet. Okay, alpha is the first letter, beta is the second letter. So we combine the two and we form the word alphabet. Alpha, beta, gamma, right? So alpha and omega is the last letter of the Greek alphabet. So when I say the alpha and the omega of something, so the alpha and the omega of this story is that, so basically I am talking about the crux of the story. The alpha and the omega of something is the most essential points, the crux, the summary, the main point of something, right? So this is not the answer here. Now 40 winks to catch a short nap is to basically if I said that he took some 40 winks, that means he caught a short nap. That's it. So this is also eliminated. To lay something bare is to reveal something. So she laid her soul bare in front of her friend. So that means she revealed, she spilled out, she spilled her heart out that day, right? So you can lay bare somebody else's secrets to reveal something. So even this is not the answer. Cloak and dagger. In fact, cloak is something that is associated with mystery, right? So you could associate like a spy with cloak and dagger that way, right? So some cloak and dagger operation, that means it's an operation that involves a number of spies. Or let's say one spy, but yes, it involves spies. The beginning and the ending, absolutely, John. The beginning, that's why the alpha, the ending, that's why the omega. Yes, lay bare is not the answer. The answer is cloak and dagger. All right. Coming to the next one. So yes, you were asking about the source of idioms and synonym antonyms. See, again, there is no, let's for instance, when you go for Barron's 800, something I suggested yesterday also, there you have a word, its meaning, its synonyms and antonyms as well, right? So that's one way of learning synonyms, antonyms. The other way is to pick them up through previous year paper questions. When it comes to idioms, there are apps available. So, for instance, currently I'm using this app called Idioms and Phrases. It's called Idioms and Phrases only, right? It offers one new idiom to me every day. Then it has a bank of idioms also. So that works for me, right? Apart from this, I have told you this earlier as well on many occasions that Renan Martin has a chapter on idioms and phrasal verbs. The name of the chapter is Idiom itself. So there's one chapter called idioms, there's the other called idioms continued, right? In one of the chapters you have phrasal verbs and in one you have idioms. So that is where from you can learn idioms. Okay, so this is always going to be the case. You passed your papers, then some books, let's say for instance I suggested Renan Martin here, and the help of internet, for instance some apps. So I suggested idioms and phrases to you. Okay, and Barron's 800 list always. No, 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 no. Like a spy, I didn't say that it means lay bare. It is cloak and dagger. To lay bare is to reveal something. Okay, so probably you saw somebody else's video. That's possible. Okay. Antonym. Choose the word or the phrase that has most nearly the opposite meaning for the word given below. This is pronounced as exiguous. Yes, you have to give me the antonym, the opposite. And this is a previous year question. So the question is, would Renan Martin be sufficient? See, it will add a good bunch of idioms and phrasal verbs to your pool, your vocabulary pool. Whether it will be sufficient or not, I can't guarantee that, right? Because maybe they ask an idiom from there, maybe they ask it from somewhere else, right? But it will definitely be better than, let's say, not doing anything about idioms and phrasal verbs, right? So if you end up learning, let's say, 250 to 300 new idioms, nothing like it. Okay, even if one of them comes in the exam, our job is done. Spill the beans is to, yes, lay something bare. Absolutely, Shiba. To spill the beans. To let the cat out of the bag. That is also to reveal a secret. So C and B. That's what I've got. Others. Okay, C, B. All right. So basically C and B. I think some of you are relating exiguous to exacting because of the similar starting. No, exiguous is not exacting. It is something that's very small in amount, something that's very meager. Okay, small, meager, minuscule. For these, I use the word exiguous. So large is the opposite of it. Okay, and that is why see here. So this one I think was dependent on your knowledge, right? Because let's say urgent, bare, exacting. Here you can't even eliminate if you don't have some vague idea about the meaning of exiguous, right? You can't apply, let's say, grouping here to eliminate. The options are very different from each other. So that's why again I chose this question. I felt that this was a different question, a slightly tricky question. Okay, and therefore the question, and yes, C is the answer. Okay, this is an FIJ question. So yesterday I realized that some of you were confused with the concept, right? So in yesterday's session, and this is not a CMAT question per se because CMAT questions have been easy. Okay, so if you pick up your 2018 CMAT slots, you will realize that the FIJ questions that have been asked there are pretty easy. So what I did was I have picked up a CAT previous year FIJ question. This is also not very tricky, just that you should know how to eliminate. Okay, so let me make the job easy for you. There are five options, let me just eliminate one option right away with you. Let's read this together. So, first says, we should not be hopelessly addicted to an erroneous belief that the corruption in India is caused by the crookedness of Indians. Okay. Let's do one thing. Let's read the shortest sentence. Three is the shortest sentence. Red tape leads to corruption and distorts a person's character. Red tape leads to corruption and distorts a person's character. Red tape is all the bureaucratic delays and hurdles that we experience when we go for any government work. That is red tape. Red tapeism also it's called. So what do you think is the nature of this statement? Is it in the nature of a fact? Is it an inference? Or is it a judgment? Yes, precisely what I've written here. What is it? Third statement. Hmm. Tell me. Fact, inference, or judgment? What is it? Radha says judgment. So, yes, absolutely correct, both of you. Now, it is a judgment because uh, it's my personal opinion no, that red tape leads to corruption. It distorts a person's character, such a personal opinion. It's very colored, right? So, judgments tend to be like that. They tend to be somebody's personal opinion. See, whenever you have to distinguish between a judgment and an inference, no, the most basic question that I ask myself that this statement has been made according to whom or according to what? Is it according to a person? Then it's a judgment. Or is it according to some facts? Then it's likely to be an inference, right? So judgments are personal opinions, and because this is a judgment, see, we have eliminated two options right away, right? So our job has become a little easier. In fact, now we also know that the second statement is a fact. So this is a fact, this is a judgment. Now you can decide about 1 and 4, whichever appears easy to you, go for that first, right? And decide its nature. Tell me, 2, 4, or 5, what should be the answer? 2, 4, or 5? Samriddhi says 5. Others. Hitarth also says 5. Let me see what the others say. Okay, very good. All of you say 5, and yes, 5 is the answer. Very happy to see all of you marking 5. Now, here, this is a judgment. We should not be hopelessly addicted to an erroneous belief that the corruption in India is caused by the crookedness of Indians. See, the moment the author says, no, we should do this, we should not do this, and it has really not been backed by any fact, it is in the nature of a judgment. Because the moment these words should not come in, that means it's an opinion, and unless it is backed by facts, it is a judgment. So with this, 4 also gets eliminated. Now 2 and 5 are really close. It now comes down to statement 4. Every red tape procedure is a point of contact with an official. Fact. Yes, this part is a fact. And such contacts have the potential to become opportunities for money to change hands. An opinion, they have the potential, they are likely to. It's in the nature of a conclusion. So this is a conclusion that is based on this fact, and that is why it's an inference. 5 is the answer. Hope this is clear to everybody. Okay. Any queries so far, you can ask me. All right. So nobody has liked the session so far, is it? I am seeing this in the chat box. Be number 1 by liking the video. That's bad. Okay. Let's see this figure of speech question. Which of the given figure of speech has been employed in the formation of the following sentence? I'm so tired that I can sleep for a year. Yes. Which figure of speech has been employed here? So out of the 4 last year papers, as in the papers for the previous 4 years are available over the internet, right? And in those, I saw figures of speech questions only twice, right? But they have appeared twice. So I thought, why not test you on this, whether you know these figures of speech or not. If you have prepared for other exams like SNAP, then I think you must have prepared for figures of speech also. Okay, Sheba says hyperbole. See, it's not even a difficult question. So, do we agree that it's a hyperbole? Okay, okay. Yes, we do agree. It is a hyperbole, which means exaggeration. It's a fancy word for exaggeration. Understatement is just the opposite. Understatement is when you are modest about something, when you downplay something, that is understatement. Right? So here this person is obviously exaggerating that I can sleep for a year. Okay. Even Kumkaran didn't sleep this much. So not something that's actually going to happen, just exaggeration. If I say that, he is thinner than the breadth of a hair, then I am probably body shaming also, and I am exaggerating at the same time. So again, that's hyperbole. So A, A is the answer, D is eliminated, understatement is eliminated. Now, can you give me an example of an understatement where you downplay something? Yes. Hmm. Let's say you didn't want to go and watch a movie. I'll explain B and C, don't worry. You didn't want to go and watch a movie, but then your friend forced you to. So you went, okay, and you ended up liking the movie. It was a good movie. So when you came out, he asked you, how was it? And you say, oh, it was not that bad. Right? What are you doing? You are downplaying the fact that you really liked it. So this is understatement. Okay. Now, pun and Sanya, which one do you want me to explain again? This fact, inference, judgment, or figures of speech? Okay, okay. I'm not that rich. Yes, this person, if let's say a very rich person says this, right? So if tomorrow Azim Premji or Anand Mahindra says this, then that is clearly an understatement, right? Now, euphemism. Yes, what is euphemism? What is pun? What is oxymoron? Let's talk about that as well. So, first of all, puns. One of my favorite figures of speech. Yes, various memes that you encounter, a lot of them employ puns, right? So I'll just discuss one. A while back, Arnab Goswami had been arrested, right? And in one of the clips he was spotted saying मुझे मारा गया है, I have been beaten, right? So there was this meme that I saw that there is an omelette, right, in one part of the picture, and a very sad egg, and it shows a very sad egg. So the question asked was, why is the egg sad? Why is the egg sad? Right? So then the second part had a picture and of Arnab, and it said, "मुझे मारा गया है, I have been beaten." Right? So what does it do? It exploits the two meanings of the word beaten: beating a person and beating an egg. This is a pun. When you exploit the two meanings of a word, okay, or you exploit, in fact, sometimes the similar sounds of various words, that is called a pun. Right? So beaten ka yahan par we have actually in a way made use of it to create a funny effect. Usually puns are humorous in nature, right? So there are a lot of puns out there. For instance, we have phrases and clauses in grammar, right? So clause, we have a clause in grammar, and we have Santa Claus. Yes. So what were the other elves with Santa Claus called? Subordinate clauses, right? So subordinate clause is actually a grammar concept. Now I am putting it and using it to a funny effect. So this is a pun. Then what did one aloe vera plant say to another? It said, "Aloe you vera vera much." Right? So these are just some of the ones that I remember. I'm sure you also must have come across a lot of such memes. Right? Right. Why did Adele cross the road to say hello from the other side? So here you are basically making use. This is a very topical pun. So somebody who knows about Adele's song Hello would actually understand this. Right. So it's a song. Hello is a song by Adele, and hello is something that's a greeting. Right. Okay. So now coming to, for see exaggeration, I am giving you examples side by side. No, for exaggeration, for instance, if I say that you know what, I have told you a million times that you should practice previous year papers. This is hyperbole. I can't really tell you something a million times, right? Understatement. Oh, I'm not as young as I used to be. So let's say I'm 70 and I'm saying this. I'm not as young as I used to be. Clearly an understatement. I'm downplaying my age, right? Pun. So I've given you some examples here. Actually, a lot of puns that I know, they relate to language. So that's why I refrain from making them. Oxymoron. So they relate to grammar and all. Oxymoron. So oxymoron comes actually the etymologically also this word. The oxus here means wise, and the moron means fool. So oxymoron means a wise fool. The word oxymoron is itself an oxymoron, contains two opposite words used together to create a dramatic effect. He's a wise fool. That means he's wise in some respects, but still foolish in some respects. Right? Can you give me more examples of oxymoron? Oxus is wise. Yes. Oxus, yes, some examples of oxymoron while I read your comments. Okay, मैं ही दे दूं examples फिर? Should I only give examples? A rich beggar, an honest thief, touchingly untouched. These are all examples of oxymoron. Basically, just the kind cruelty of the cruel kindness of a surgeon's knife. The cruel kindness of a surgeon's knife. So these are all oxymorons. I hope now things are clear to you. What is euphemism? Somebody mentioned euphemism in the chat box. If any of them is not clear, you can ask me while I am discussing euphemism. EU means good. Pheme means, basically here it stands for word. Actually, phemes, morphemes, these are units of a word. Okay. So, using a politer word for something that people may find offensive, that is a euphemism. Right? So, for instance, we say that he is differently abled. differently abled. Instead of calling someone handicapped, which is rude, right, which is insensitive, we should say that, okay, this person is, either you say, okay, if this person is physically challenged, then you can say physically challenged, that is fine, or differently abled, that is even better. So this is a euphemism there. Then instead of saying he or she passed away, rather than saying died, that is again a euphemism, because died is very out there. Okay, so these are some euphemisms. Hope this is clear. What are the other figures of speech that you need to know? Okay, Sanya, again in Ren and Martin. So you must be thinking that I refer to Ren and Martin a lot, but actually it's a useful book. There is a whole chapter called Figures of Speech, which has about 25, 26 figures of speech. These are the major ones. I'm not saying it's an exhaustive list. There are over 200 figures of speech, but it contains at least all the main ones. So go through that chapter once. All right. And I think yes, you'll have to go through those chapters, because earlier we used to have some sessions on the app for this, but I don't think they are there any longer on figures of speech. So just go through that chapter and you'll be sorted. Okay. And anyway, you don't get very difficult figures of speech questions. I mean, the two questions that I have seen in CMAT have been very easy. All right. Okay. Happy married, yes. So a lot of people say a happy marriage is an oxymoron. That's actually a joke that people make, that happy and marriage can't go together, right? So some people say veg biryani is an oxymoron because veg and biryani don't go hand in hand, right? So yes, these are just jokes. Cushioning the effect of words. Absolutely, absolutely. So I read this quotation, I'll tell you. This quotation said, euphemism is a euphemism for lying. Euphemism is a euphemism for lying. So basically, this person is saying that when you actually use euphemistic words, you are lying, okay? And you are just lying in a polite manner. So that's how this person put it. Euphemism is a euphemism for lying, right? A lot of politicians actually use it to their advantage. For instance, collateral damage. When, let's say, uh, in let's say some shootouts, some civilians die. Now the government wants to justify those shootouts. Let's say there were some terrorists hidden there, and therefore those shootouts were carried out, and the government, instead of acknowledging that okay, civilians died in the process, uses the words collateral damage. That is nothing but a use of euphemism meant to confuse people, right? So yes, euphemism can be used to political advantage also. Now coming to preposition question. Preposition is an important topic because I have seen quite a few fill in the blanks relying exclusively on prepositions. Again, what do you have to do? You have to practice a lot of preposition questions, because this is an area that you learn through usage. A lot of times prepositions do not follow logic. They are governed by customs and conventions. So that's why practice as many questions as you can. And again, my favorite book, Then and Martin, it has exercises, basically fill in the blanks only on prepositions. So just practice them once, right? So a plane flies dash the clouds. Very easy question. Has to be okay. Yes, absolutely. Has to be B. It flies above the clouds. Okay. In the clouds. One student said that why is in not correct? Because see, a plane flying through the clouds still makes sense. A plane flying in the clouds would mean as if the clouds have enclosed the plane, as if this is a three-dimensional area that has enclosed the plane. So this is not correct. Through the clouds, okay, it's passing through the clouds, that makes sense, right? So above, not along, not with, above is the most appropriate. And you should also know the difference between on and above. I think many of you already do. On means the thing is in contact with the surface. On is a contact preposition that way. Contact with the surface. Whereas above means at a higher position but not in contact. At a higher position but not in contact. Okay. All right. Along and with are incorrect. See, along the clouds would mean that okay, the clouds are also flying along with it. साथ साथ चल रहे हैं. That's the idea, along the clouds. Okay. And like for instance, he was walking along the road. So along that road means उसके साथ साथ चल रहा था. That's the idea. So that's not what we want to convey usually when we talk about clouds. Then with the clouds would mean that again the clouds were flying with the plane. That's not the idea that we want to convey. Okay. Yes, yes, it is above. Correct, Harsh. Now, the Supreme Court dashed the decree of the lower court. Yes. The Supreme Court dashed the decree of the lower court. What do you think? I may have discussed this with you. This is a good question. And it's actually a vocabulary question. Though it looks like a grammar question, it is a vocabulary question. How to study prepositions with me. There is an old session that is available, Prep for Prepositions, over YouTube. I took this session last year, right? So you can watch that. Again, I made students practice some questions there and explain some of the major prepositions through questions, right? So that is something that you can do. It's available over YouTube. C, all of you say set aside. Okay. Now, why not the others? And what made you decide set aside the decree of the lower court? That's because you have read set aside in such contexts. That's what made you decide that, okay, the Supreme Court has set it aside, has actually rejected the decree of the lower court. So, all of these terms here, they have some fixed meanings and they're used in some fixed contexts. They are phrasal verbs, phrases that contain a verb plus a preposition or adverb, carrying fixed meanings. So, what are these fixed meanings? Let's see. Set by in itself does not mean anything. Set store by. That is the phrasal verb here. When I say many people set much store by privacy. So if you set store by something, you give a lot of importance to it. You give a lot of importance to it. So that means many people think that privacy is very important. They consider their privacy to be very important. Right? Set against. So when you become opposed to someone or something, that's when you are set against that person. His bitter words has sorry, this should be have. His bitter words have set her against him. Right? So set against, set store by, set over. Set over. One meaning is little. For instance, I set the picture over the fireplace. I set the picture over the fireplace. So basically, fireplace के ऊपर आपने रख दिया picture. That's the idea. Sorry, power outage. It will be back in a minute. Set aside. I have set aside. Now see here, this is another meaning of set aside. One is to reject. This is used in legal language. Right? The other is to keep earmarked for a separate purpose. Okay, to keep for a separate purpose. I have set aside 100 rupees for chocolates. Right? So I have basically kept it separately for chocolates. Decree. What is decree? Yes, decree means a law. Okay, decree is a basically here it is a decision. It's a decision. Set aside the decision or verdict of the lower court. Right? A decision of the lower court. Something that was decided by the lower court. Yes, my bad. Decision or verdict. All right. I hope phrasal verbs are clear to you and we can proceed. All right. Let's look at this verbs. So Harris dashed 13 pages when his laptop crashed. So tell me, what should I write here? An order. Yes, yes, an order. Correct. A verdict, an order. Why not set against? Because set against would mean when you become opposed to someone. Okay, so as I gave that example, that if you are set against someone, you now become opposed to them. You now don't like them in a way. It indicates hostility. Here, the Supreme Court is not hostile towards the lower court. The Supreme Court simply does not agree with the decision of the lower court, the order of the lower court. Right? Okay. B, C. All right. Yes, yes, all of these are previous year questions only. All of these are previous year questions. I haven't added any questions on my own except the FIJ question, right? So Harris had already typed or has typed. See, I think was easy to reject. See, crashed. Crashed is past tense, right? Crashed is past tense. So I cannot use has here. Has is present tense. Okay. So Harris had already typed 13 pages when his laptop crashed. Hope this makes sense. Past perfect tense was needed here. Okay, because when we use past perfect, we use past perfect when we want to talk about two things that happened in the past, but one thing happened before the other. So let's say the first action happened before the second action. Either it got completed before the second action or it got completed by the time the second action started. But it stands completed. It's a completed action. That's why we call it perfect. Perfect means complete. It's a perfected action. So Harris had already typed 13 pages when his laptop crashed. अब ये वाला है crash वाला moment, ये वाला है typing वाला action. Right? Hope this makes sense. B is the answer. Yeah, it can't be. Yes, yes, absolutely correct, Harsh. Correct, correct, correct. Okay. So this is a question on tenses. Why I included it to show you that you need to prepare for tenses. Okay, if you have tenses rules on your tips, then no matter what kind of a question of tenses comes, you will be able to tackle it. Right? So do go through the theory part of it, the rules part of it. Again, you can pick up any grammar book, be it Renan Martin or Raymond Murphy. They express these rules very clearly. Right? So once you just read those 2 pages, you will be through. Okay, you will be sorted. Now, word usage. So, why again I have included this? This is vocabulary, right? It tests your contextual vocabulary, whether you know how to use a word or not, right? So, this is a last year question itself, and I've particularly picked it. I may have done this with you earlier as well because this is from the last year. Diffuse. You have to tell me which sentence makes the accurate use of this word diffuse. Yes. Let's see what you say. Okay, so B, C, D. That's what I've got. Basically, nobody is saying A. All right. So let's see which is the correct answer. Of course, just one of them is correct. Diffuse simply means, see, fuse means to mix, right? To combine, to join. Diffuse would mean to spread. Diffuse means to spread over a wide area to a large number of people. That is the idea. So he was modest and spread about his own success. Does not make sense. So A cannot be the answer. The problem is how to diffuse power without creating anarchy. So spread power over a large area to a large number of people, or is it about, let's say, how to delegate power, which would be a better word here? See, one is assigning power to multiple levels. That is not diffusing, it is delegating, right? So here you are not spreading something in the sense of, let's say, ekdam se to a large area when something spreads. Let's say gases can diffuse. So diffuse does not fit here as much as, let's say, delegate would fit. And that's why B is also incorrect. Technologies diffuse rapidly. Yes, see, the nature of technology is to spread to a large number of people, right? And usually these people are also from a wide area. So technologies diffuse rapidly makes perfect sense. And this is our answer. D says the moon was fuller than the night before, but the light was diffused by cloud. The light was spread by the cloud. In fact, wouldn't the light become fainter because of the cloud? That's what happens, right? So the light was diffused by cloud? No. The light was perhaps made fainter by the cloud. It was basically, it became paler due to the cloud. Those would fit here, not diffused. So that's why C is our answer. I hope this makes sense. If not, do ask me. I am here only. How to improve pronunciation? Pronunciation is a very tricky area, Vishal. Okay. Even till today, I am also working on my pronunciation. So, whenever you learn the meaning of a word side by side, please do see its pronunciation as well. That's what I do. Or if you come across a new word, a word from another language, then right away look at its pronunciation and then stick to that pronunciation. That's the only way. Otherwise, see, because we are not native speakers and there are so many foreign words that are used in English language, uh, it's a work in progress to improve your pronunciation. Okay, so don't worry a lot about it. That's what I would tell you. Okay, Makaran, so you are confusing diffuse and defuse. Okay, so you defuse a bomb, right? Basically, you remove its fuse. You remove its fuse so that it doesn't explode. So these are two commonly confused words, diffuse and defuse. All right. Okay, C is the answer here. Hope this is clear. Now we're left with, I think, just two questions. Or yes, this is the last question for the day. Phrase improvement. You have to tell me what is the uh, correct answer here. Okay, does this phrase need improvement? Does it not need improvement? Yes. Rama told his wife he would not mind standing and eat the dinner. That's okay. That's okay. I need all of you to respond. This is a very easy question. Even if you haven't done various grammar concepts, you will be able to tell me the answer. Okay, B, C, A. All right, C. Others, yes, C, C. Okay, C. So primarily I'm getting a lot of C's. App for pronunciation. See, Vishal, Merriam-Webster, you can download the dictionary app and there it gives you various pronunciations also. So it will give you one main pronunciation and then using obliques, it writes down what are the alternative pronunciations for this word. So you can get the main pronunciation through the speaker sign that is there. And Cambridge, in case you want to learn both the UK and the US pronunciation, then the Cambridge website clearly offers both the UK and the US pronunciation of a word. So this is a website, Merriam-Webster, you can download the app, right? Okay. So standing and eating. Parallelism question this is. Okay. I didn't write the topic in the heading itself because then it would become very easy. The topic being tested here is parallelism. He would not mind what? Standing and eating. Not standing and eat. Consistency. ING, ING. So the easiest question for the last, right? And I hope these question types helped you. We've talked about phrase improvement, word usage, tenses, phrasal verbs, prepositions, figures of speech, FIJs, antonyms, idioms, and word application, a very new question type, a unique question type that I spotted in CMAT. Right? So I hope you liked the session, right? And if you did, please show your liking through the like button. and do subscribe to our channel. Do attend these sessions that are happening in the last lab to CMAT. Every 7 p.m. we come up with some new topic for you, some new area that will be tested in the exam, right? So do attend these. And this is the current CAT PIVAT program. I'm sure all of you know about this by now. So in case you have friends who are interested, please do recommend them. In case your friends want to prepare for CAT 22, then this is our ongoing batch. And yes, if you have any queries that you wish to address later on as well, we have a Telegram group. You can join this. This is specifically for doubts. Okay. You can like us on Instagram and Facebook, right? If you are present there. Okay. uh, what will be the English sectional cutoff? That's a very tricky question. Okay, first of all, CMAT doesn't really have sectional cutoffs. Okay, so yes, the question becomes moot. When is my next class? Let me quickly tell you that. So Friday is when I have my next class with you at 7 p.m. Right? Let me see if I have one tomorrow as well. Let me just quickly see that and tell you. Just a second. Friday we are meeting in the last lab, right? Before that, do I have a class? Let me tell you that. So we had a class today, 23rd, and then next is on, okay. No, I am meeting you on Friday only now. One of you was asking about CAT RCs. So we'll talk about CAT at 1 p.m. on Friday and we'll talk about CMAT at 7 p.m. on Friday. Okay. So I'm meeting you twice on that day. Okay. So this is it from my side. I will see you next time. Okay. And thank you so much. Thank you. I'm happy that you like the session. Uh, John, again, the same response. Would it be enough? See, it will add about 800 words and in fact more than that to your pool through synonym antonyms. So it will definitely help you. Whether I guarantee that the questions from there only will come, that I can't. Right? Okay, so Shubhankar has a question that the statement reads Rama told. It's in the past tense, right? So how come am I using standing and eating? A very pertinent question. See here, standing and eating are not verbs. They are not verbs. So I understand that this is in the past tense. So all the verbs you must be thinking, they should be in the past tense. For instance, would is in the past tense. But standing and eating, they are nouns here. Because what is it that he would not mind? What would he not mind? That would be the question, no? So standing and eating are answering the question what? This standing is a noun here. So sometimes verb plus ing forms function as a noun. That is when they are called gerunds. So this standing and eating, they are gerunds here. Right? For instance, if I say swimming is my hobby, there swimming is not a verb. Swimming is a noun. What is my hobby? Swimming. So swim plus ing, verb plus ing, functioning as a noun there and they are gerunds. Okay. Welcome, welcome all of you. I hope I've addressed your queries. So I'm meeting you 4 times this week. Okay. All right. So I think I've addressed your queries. I'll see you next time on Friday at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Be there. Bye.